Welcome to another episode of The Latest with Maya. Today, I am very excited to be having a conversation with actor Warren Christie. Warren has been in so much, including the show The Village, the movies The Most Wonderful Time of the Year and Holiday Road. And he has also guest starred in one of my favorite shows, Arrow. Um, Thank you so much for being on my show. I've actually been trying to interview you for 5 years, so it's a dream come true to be talking with you right now.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I can't believe it. 5 years. Oh, that's not right. You'll have to do this more often, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So my first question for you is who do you most admire and how has that impacted the way you live your life?
Oh, who do I most admire? You mean in the acting world or just in general?
Um, Whichever.
Well, I mean, I admire my dad quite a bit. Like he's been very inspirational. He's been supportive. Every single crazy thing I've wanted to do in my life, he's been okay with it, including acting, which kind of came out of nowhere for him, and just has always been as like, is this what you want to do? And I say, this is what I want to do, and he always just says, all right, go for it. And when you have that kind of support, you feel like you can do anything. So I've always been grateful to have that. Both him and my parents. I have two older sisters. They're all just. I think they think I'm crazy sometimes, but they've always got my back, and that's it's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So I am pop culture obsessed and I go in stages of shows that I cannot stop watching. What show are you currently obsessed with?
What am I currently obsessed with? That's a good question. I'm kind of strange. Like I don't. I go. I'm like you, where like if I get something, I go full bore with it, and then I won't watch stuff for a long time. But the last show that I binged was a show called Shrinking on Apple
Oh,
TV,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
was very good. It was very, very funny. It was really cool. I just started watching Masters of Air. Do you know that one? It's on Apple. It just
I've
came out. It's only
heard
done
of
a couple
it.
episodes. Pretty. Yeah, it's kind of cool, like the way it's shot and the way it's done and everything. And I'm only two episodes in, but my problem is sometimes I'll get into a show and then I'll just get distracted and forget to finish it, which is not ideal. Like there's a lot of like great shows that I I need to go back and finish up. But yeah, I'd say Shrinking's the last full series I watched. It was great.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
What are
I
you
love
watching right
that
now though?
show. Oh, right now I'm watching the show Grimm, which
Cool.
I love that show. Lately though, I've been like taking a short break from it because I don't know. I feel like I've just had so much anxiety lately, and so I'm like I can't really watch anything super dark right now. So I've been taking a short break from it, but I'm
That's
going
a pretty
back
dark
to
show.
finish it. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's smart though. It's good
yeah. Yeah, it can be yeah, my rule is always I can't watch it when the sun goes down. So if I'm watching it, I have to stop when the sun starts going down. So,
that's a good plan.
yeah. And then I started watching Chicago Med, so been watching that show
Okay, nice.
too. So, yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. But also, There's a show that just came on Netflix called Louder Milk that my mom and I have been watching together, which has been very fun.
Okay,
It's very funny. So,
that's good. Those are good
yeah.
suggestions. I'll have to check them out.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really good. Um, so what in your life brings you the most joy?
Oof, that's a good question. Um, I would have to say probably time with my son. I have a 14-year-old son. And so, this business is crazy sometimes and you're all over the place. So when I have time with him and we get to hang out and sharing all sorts of stuff, that's probably when I'm at my happiest.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So what is the best song to describe your life right now?
The best way to describe it?
The best song
The best song.
to
Oh,
describe it. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good question.
You.
Ooh, wow. I have to be honest, my life's pretty chilled out right now. Like
Yeah.
it's just starting to get hectic. I stretched out holiday mode as long as I could, which is all the way here to the end of January.
Mm.
But it's really starting to get hectic. I can see what's coming on the horizon. But
Mm.
that's such a good question that I'm blanking. But anything that says I can feel stuff coming,
Yeah.
something in that world, but I can't think of when I'm blanking. That's such a good question. Oh, I don't
Thank
know.
you. Cool. So what is your favorite way to procrastinate?
I'm very good at procrastinating. I have many ways. You
Yeah.
know what? Years and years ago, when I was traveling a lot and I was away from my son, I started playing Fortnite with him because we could put the headset on, we could chat, we could play. So I learned I was terrible. He still thinks I'm terrible, but I think I've gotten pretty good. Um, I still play a bit. Like I still like to play Fortnite. I love watching sports. It's a great time of the year to watch sports. So I'm pretty good though. I can find a lot of ways to kill time and put things put things off that I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, yeah, I can be usually uh good at procrastinating too. So um,
It's fun.
yeah. Yeah. Um, so if you had to pick any character in a book, movie, or TV show who is most similar to you, who would you choose and why?
Um, who is the most like me in book movie? Man, these are such good questions. My goodness.
Yeah.
You know what? Again, I live two very separate lives. Like when I'm working and it's hectic and it's hard and you're on planes and living in hotels and all that different stuff. But when I'm not working, I go out of my way to live a very, very boring life
Mm.
and to just be very chilled out and to not do a lot of different stuff like that. So
Yeah.
if I could figure out someone who had that duality of things, I feel like that would be the perfect way to describe it because my business is crazy and it's ever changing and you're on the road a lot doing different stuff, but I really do go out of my way to be um, boring
Yeah.
is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
When I'm not working. So I don't know, some character that would fall in there that has a lot of duality to it, I think.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So what do you wish people better understood about you?
Better understood about me. I don't know. I'm a little bit of a kind of private person in general. So I think I've done a pretty good job of um, keeping my two lives very separate between work and stuff like that. I hope that people realize I love what I do. I love what I feel so lucky every time I get a job, every time I work with people. I've gotten to work with some incredible artists, incredible people, and so I love what I do. I still love it. I still love everything about it. I love going to set and meeting people. So I hope people realize I'm very conscious of how fortunate I am to be able to work the way I do in this industry, and yeah, I'm very grateful for it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So if you had a reality TV show about your life, what would it be called?
Oh my gosh, it would probably just be called boring, and I don't think people would watch it. um, it's really, like I said, it's the two lives. I mean, it's a funny thing to balance my job and my industry, which is crazy. It's crazy and changing all the time and challenging and wonderful to because of the amount of time it takes to do a show and to do different series. I go out of my way, like I said, when I'm off, to be around for my son as much as I can and do those different things. So um, the work side seems very exciting and all that stuff, and it is, and I love it. But I find just as much joy in just the day to day of driving my son to school, or taking him to something he's got to do and stuff like that. So there'd be some very boring parts of that show. I don't think it would hold people's attention very well.
Well, I love that. Yeah, my family and we always joke. Usually we'll be having the most ridiculous conversation, and it either goes two ways. We're either like, thank goodness nobody is filming this because they think we're crazy, or the like, if this was filmed, like, nobody would believe it unless it's filmed. So that we're having the most ridiculous conversation. So yeah.
Yeah, and family's great. I come from a big Irish family, and it's the same thing. If some people heard how we were, how loud we get, how we talk to each other, sometimes it would be probably pretty embarrassing, I think.
Yeah, yeah, my family and I are usually just like, we're like, good thing nobody is around to hear this conversation because they think
Yeah,
we're crazy. So
it's great.
yeah. Um, so if you had a warning label, what would yours say?
Oh, jeez. Um, ugh, I had a warning label. What would it say? Oh, oh, probably something in need sleep, must get sleep, something along those lines. Something to help balance out how hectic things can get. Needs food and sleep. That's it. That would be my warning. Or else dot dot dot. That would be my warning label, probably.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. So what three words best describe you?
Best three words to describe me is like I'm incredibly loyal, to my family, to my parents, my sisters, my son, everyone. Driven. It's whatever you choose to do in life. I feel like if you're passionate about it and you're driven, there's always going to be kind of ups and downs, but they're okay. Even the downs are okay because you're doing something you're passionate about and you love. So I think driven, and then just to tag on to that is passionate. If I'm into something, you know I get very into it, and I'm out there all in on it, and that's a nice way to live. Rather than just being kind of tepid and whatnot. So if I get excited about something, especially in my work, if a job or something like that, then I'm all in. Like I love learning. The one thing that's really fun about my job is that, I don't, you go role to role, you don't know what it's going to be. I mean, and I like research. Like I like learning about people, whether it's playing like a fireman once, so you learn about how that works, or you're playing a soldier or this or that. Like I really enjoy that side of it. So when I'm really passionate about something, I'm all into it.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, I love that. Um, yeah, so is there a show or movie? Do you have a go-to show or movie when you just want to be comforted and kind of escape the world and
Just want to be comforted. Like I said earlier, I watch a lot of sports, and what I love about sports in general is the unpredictability of it. Usually, it's supposed to be something and stuff like that, and I find that type of thing is I don't want to say mindless, because especially if I've got a team in it or something, but I enjoy that type of stuff. If I really want to chill out as sports, it really just kind of helps me to relax, and it can take my mind off whatever the day was or any of those different things. A lot of times I'll watch a hockey game or football game or something like that, because I think sports and the drama that comes with sports is pretty amazing.
oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I have yeah, a lot of go-to shows and that I just always put on what like I have on all the time. So,
What's your favorite one of to do with that?
oh, there okay, I have three that I can't decide my like which one out of all of them is my favorite. There's Will and Grace,
Okay.
and then Friends, and then The Flash. So,
Oh,
the,
okay.
yeah. So those are all ones that I just have on whenever I just need an escape. So,
The three good ones, three very different, like the two comedies. Then I've actually seen a lot of The Flash as well, and Friends. But with The Flash, my son was watching it for a while again, so he and I would watch it together. So that show was great.
cool. Yeah. That that still remains one of my favorite shows. I had stopped watching it for a couple seasons when it was on, but then in 2020 when everyone went on lockdown, I just went through and rewatched the whole thing and just caught up on it all. And so I watched all of The Flash and then I watched all of Arrow. So
Wow. Have you been able to get either of those guys? Have you had a chance to chat with them?
yeah, I've interviewed a lot of people from both shows and yeah, I've gotten to interview Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin. Um, yeah, which
That's great.
was so cool. Yeah. So, yeah, it was yeah, very cool. So yeah, I was watching Arrow when I was going through radiation. So that was my show that I just watched all through.
Oh, very cool. That's
Yeah.
been so exciting to talk to those guys then too.
Yeah, it was. It was very I had a hard time wrapping my head around it even while I was talking to them. I'm like, this isn't real. I'm not actually talking to you right now.
Yeah.
So, and I'm kind of doing the same thing now, like because I have been wanting to interview you for so long, and just like this can't be happening right now. This can't be real. So,
Oh, you're so sweet. I'm flattered. No, I'm excited. When my agent reached out to chat, I was said absolutely. I said I'd love to. I didn't know you've been trying for that long, so I'm flattered you wanted to. I'm flattered you wanted to talk to me.
you. Yeah. Um, yeah, so what motivates you even on days when you aren't really feeling it?
Oh, I mean, I think a part of it is just like I don't know how to put this properly. It's because I'm going to kind of contradict what I said earlier about being so boring, but I do have a rough time of not doing things to a certain extent. Like, I love, that's why I love this job so much. It changes every day. It can change with a phone call tomorrow. You might have to dive into research, learning about different things. Like all of these things I love people and people watching and all that different stuff. So I think what motivates me is this wanting to learn more, wanting to pick up on things and learn things about people and industries and jobs and how it affects them as people. So, every time something comes in or a script comes in or something comes in, I get to immediately dive into figuring that out. And so it's just that it's like this want to learn things. It's this want to know things. I think really drives me a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I love inspiring and motivational quotes. And this week, my favorite quotation is from a show that I love called Perception. And it says we should try to accept what's already pretty good about ourselves. Is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you see so many quotations
Yeah,
on your Instagram reels showing up and
yeah,
stuff like that. For years, though, back in the day, and I'll probably butcher it, there was one that I loved for years, years and years, and it's super old. And it said, we're all in the gutter, but the difference is some of us are looking up at the stars. And what I loved about that was it's a very, and I might have butchered it a little bit, but the point is you're always going to have rough times. You're always going to have, situations in life. But if you can see
yeah,
in it, if you can find the motivation, find that thing, or specifically if you have a goal, it may not be a straight line to that. You may not understand how, but if you see that goal and if you see the beauty in things, it helps in some of the other times. So I love that for years and years and years. Um, that was one of my favorites.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was so much fun talking with you. I just can't tell you how much this means to me to be talking with you. I so appreciate your taking the time to join me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. So thank you
Oh,
so
it was
much.
such a pleasure. Yeah, no, it was such a pleasure to chat with you, and hopefully we can do it again, and it won't take
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, yeah. And that's a wrap on today's edition of The Latest with Maya.